All right. Hello, world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. If you are on the live, thank you so much for jumping on tonight, wherever you might be. You could be anywhere, but you're hanging out with me. So that's awesome. So here's what I got set up right now, you guys. I have StreamYard set up. We're broadcasting to my Facebook profile, the Lionfish Grand Prix profile, and probably YouTube. And then on this camera, and then on this side, I have I have a phone set up, and we are live and direct on Instagram Live as well. I've yet to find a simple platform that will broadcast to everybody. So Instagram's kind of being a little bit of a stickler, not letting these apps, talk across the board. So shout out to everyone that's on the live. What you can do is first things first. You know how these lives go. Let me know how the audio sounds, how the video sounds. I got the studio mic here. Those on IG, it's just the phone mic from the Note 10. Yeah, it kind of looks good. What's going on, you guys? Let me know where you're tuning in from and get your questions ready. Because what this live is all about, why you're going to be hanging out with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes, is to talk about the Lionfish Grand Prix. More specifically, the November 2020 Bermuda Lionfish Grand Prix. All right. So I'm just going to let this soak for another minute or two. Let people jump on. Shout out to Shayna in California. Shayna, how does this look? How does it sound? Brazil in the house, California in the house, Bermuda in the house. Yes, that's cool. That's pretty wicked. So, yeah. So what's up with this Lionfish Grand Prix thing? So, I've been involved in the lionfish scene for a while. Done quite a lot on the ground here in Bermuda, and I've traveled around the region, joining in on culling efforts in Jamaica, Cayman, St. Croix. I'd love to see a lot more of the Caribbean, but yeah, there's a lot more to see, a lot more to do. Last June, I was on an expedition in the Gulf of Mexico with Noah, with a good few colleagues. Actually, the boat was packed. And shout out to that team and the Fling. The boat was called the Fling, and I was on board with some pretty amazing rock stars culling lionfish from the Flower Gardens Marine Sanctuary in the Gulf of Mexico. That was wicked. So I've been doing this lionfish stuff for a long time. And for you guys, for you guys that know me, yeah, it's just been well, as far as I understand it, it's a forever problem. Invasive lionfish aren't going away. It's not something that's just we're gonna snap our fingers and they're gone. It is a forever problem, and these culling events are important, not just to incentivize the culling communities in their respective countries to do the best to keep their numbers in check, but just to raise awareness as well, right? So I'm not going to do really a deep dive right now into why we call these invasive lionfish. That's something we can cover another time, or you're free to look it up on your own. I'm here to really talk about what's going on this month in Bermuda with the Bermuda Lionfish Grand Prix. So there have been numerous lionfish culling tournaments in Bermuda in the past. I don't think I was involved in the first couple. Shout out to Matthew and Solange of Groundswell, who really got this whole thing started many years ago with these rock star, amazing single day event tournaments held at the Bermuda Institute of Ocean Science. And they grew and grew and grew. But unfortunately, Groundswell stopped hosting the tournaments in the summertime. And over time, other entities, individuals, organizations, and groups we've done our best to try to pick up the slack and offer things for the community, for the lionfish culling community to do. Events where we can come together as individuals or as teams to get out there in a friendly, competitive sort of atmosphere to get on our reef and remove as many of these invasive lionfish as possible. So yeah, Groundswell kind of kicked it off. We've got a winter event that runs all of January. There's a spring event. Now and again, there's been a summer event, and now and again, there've been a fall event. So I hosted a couple events in the fall to kind of fill in that seasonal gap. And the reason why the vibe in Bermuda has been, we went from one summer event to a summer and a winter event spanning all month. Like each event had its own, I guess, purpose, in a sense that Bermuda experiences a very unique seasonality, guys. If you're in Bermuda, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, we have our own special winter, spring, summer, and fall. And right now, it's fall, it's getting a little bit chilly. And I've lived in Toronto, so I know what chilly really is. I know what 30 below walking up Yonge Street feels like. So how can Bermuda be chilly? It gets chilly, you guys. Tonight it's rainy. It's beautiful, but it's rainy, and it's windy, and it's a little bit cold. But nevertheless, what happens with our lionfish is there's this, and it hasn't been scientifically proven, but they do this sort of movement from deep water to shallow water as the water temperature changes, right? So it was important for our scientists really to get data from as many time points throughout the year as possible, not just in the summer or in the spring or in the winter, for example. So it's important that there's some degree of effort done year round so that we can get as much data as we can. Now, colors are in the water year round anyway, but it's these larger scale events that do a bit more, right? It brings the community together. Individual anglers and teams come together and call and win prizes, and just the camaraderie and the competitiveness is really, really cool. So that's what's going on. So the Lionfish Grand Prix is a new format. The cornerstone of the Grand Prix is certainly, without question, the website. Yeah, the iAngler platform and the iAngler app that that you can download on your smartphone from the Apple Store or the Play Store. And the whole idea is to really make this as frictionless as possible, as innovative and intuitive as possible, and just modern, right? Like you get out on the water, you're culling lionfish with your team, you come back to shore, you do a count. From there, even with your hands, little kind of, tacky from being salty and whatnot, you grab your phone, launch iAngler, and you're able to do what you got to do. Now, in the case of the Bermuda event, what we had to put in place, a slight stipulation we had to put in place, is we want the Bermuda government to have the lionfish culling data first. So it's important that you're not only like a permitted culler, so you have to go through the process of being a permitted culler in Bermuda, but when you get that permit, you're required to report. So you go out tonight, you catch 4 lionfish, that's amazing. Hopefully you cook them, eat them to beat them, right? Report into the Bermuda government database at lionfish.bm first. You use your caller ID to sign in, and then you get a report number in your email once you've submitted that. Okay. So once you do that, and it's intuitive, once you do it a couple times, it becomes second nature. You then take your reporting number, you go into iAngler either on your phone or on the website, and you re-enter a bit of information. We just really want to have a picture of you and your team, or maybe just the fish sort of laid out nicely. Take a picture, drop a location. It'll either pull the GPS from your smartphone, or it will you'll be able to drop a pin around about to where you were. And for those of you guys that are super competitive, if you don't want to put exactly where you caught them, that's probably okay. It's probably okay. You don't want to know, you may not want to share exactly where your honey holes are, and that's fine. But drop a location so you have an idea of where you caught them, and just put quantity. And if you're up to it, if you feel it, it's not mandatory, but you can also put the length of each lionfish that you catch. It's kind of nice to know the length, okay? And then, as far as I know, and I gotta check because a little bit fuzzy. It's been a long day. Yeah, you put in your caller ID number, your unique number given to you once you've taken the Bermuda Lionfish Culling Permit class. Shout out to all the instructors, past and present and future, that step to do it and teach the course. And then your reporting number, and you submit. Now, when you submit, it goes into iAngler and it sits in a holding pattern. An event director, either myself or my colleague that wrote the platform, or someone else, is able, either way, an event director has to approve your submission first. So it doesn't just boom, go live. It does get vetted by an event director first. And we may want to edit some information. We may want to look at the EXIF data of your photograph. We may want to just do a little bit of a looky look to make sure that, everything's legit. This is really honor-based, you guys. If I had the time, it's easy for me to pull pictures from the past and kind of finagle the system and put in data that's not honest or not true, or Photoshop, one lionfish into 10, and that's not what this is all about, man. This is just about friendly competition to keep lionfish numbers in check, using iAngler for our, the Lionfish Grand Prix event. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. The event directors will then approve the submission, and then boom, it gets up on the leaderboard, and you get to see at any point in time whether you are taking part in the event or not, who's in the lead, and what all the data looks like. So as of tonight, November 4th, this is day 4. We have 11 teams registered. There are 24 anglers, and 3 culling events have been logged. So what I'm going to do right after I finish this live is jump into the back end of the system. Hey, shout out to Stearns Reef. Yeah, I'm going to jump into the back end of the system and approve the 3 logged events. How many lionfish? I don't know yet. But once I go through and approve the submissions, we will have no cat. What does that mean? Hey! Yeah. And that is really the gist of what's going on. So this is for the entire month of November, opened up to all Bermuda lionfish permitted colors. We have right now, there are 10 prizes to be given out, because just based on our categories. So we've got the team that catches the most lionfish gets a prize. The individual that catches the most lionfish gets a prize. And so it's first, second, and third. And then the largest lionfish, if you want to vie for the largest lionfish and you happen to catch a big one and you think it's a contender for the biggest lionfish, you need to keep it completely whole. Like, don't gut it, don't cut any spines off, keep it completely intact, throw it in your freezer, and around the last week or so of November, we'll figure out how to get all that sorted out. And the same thing applies for the smallest lionfish. If you think you've got the smallest lionfish, and where's my ruler? I had a ruler. I would say, like, Jade, what do you think? Like, if you catch something that's like 3 inches or under, hold on to that thing. Actually, lionfish that small are worth more alive than dead. But if you manage to catch something that's like 3.5 inches at least, you can spear him or net him, put him in the freezer, and it'll be eligible, certainly eligible in the running for smallest lionfish. And then we have a couple cool prizes. Best team photo, and this could just be your team holding spears in your wetsuits, and then best individual photo. So for those of you that have been in the lionfish scene in Bermuda for a while, certainly you recognize this tournament. It's a bit different. And it's certainly way different from the tournaments that I have hosted in the past. The very first tournament I hosted was sanctioned by a reef, and there was quite a lot of process involved with that. There were no individual anglers allowed. It was all team-based. Each team had a team captain. The team captain had to attend an in-person meeting. There were tons of paperwork to be filled out. So it was good. Like, it was good to feel what a reef-sanctioned derby was all about. It was somewhat well received, but a little bit too much yellow tape for those that were used to more of a casual tournament framework. So I, in just my experience in being involved in different things here and elsewhere, I said, look, let's open this up to individual anglers. That doesn't mean solo diving or solo angling. Maybe if you are a couple and you are diving for lionfish, maybe one of you are into spearing lionfish and one of you isn't. And you happen to be in the water together as a couple, but you don't want to sign up as a team because your partner sort of doesn't want anything to do with necessarily calling lionfish. So that's just one example of situations where you've got an individual angler registered for the tournament event that is not solo diving. Now, have I solo dived? Yes. Do I advocate for solo diving? No. And in fact, I tend not to refer to solo diving as solo diving. I look at it as self-reliant diving. For any of you guys that have been scuba diving for a while, you know that even if you're in a group of divers, more often than not, you get separated from the group, separated from your guide. In that moment, you are essentially solo. And in some cases, when you're buddied up with another diver that's probably less experienced than you, that's even more of a liability in some cases than being alone, right? That's a whole nother discussion. And I don't want to open up a can of worms, you guys, about self-reliant diving versus solo diving. All I want to highlight with respect to this tournament is that you don't have to be a team to participate. You can be an individual and log your catch. So that's kind of cool. And you've got the app on your phone. You have the website portal that you can access at any time. And then, you've got your lionfish flag that you have to fly. You've got your spots marked out that you want to mark out. You've got your checklist. You've got your safety guidelines. And all of that sort of is part and parcel with what you get when, per tournament rules, your Bermuda Lionfish calling permit. So one of the questions that I've gotten as of late is, what happens if you want to participate but you do not yet have your Bermuda Lionfish calling permit? Email permits@lionfish.bm, and the wonderful instructors that have taken up the mantle to offer this course to the public will coordinate with you and do either a one-on-one session or a small group session. So shout out to Jade at Making Waves for the intel and for being a course facilitator or course instructor. So that's pretty wicked. So before I go any further, you guys, and I'd love to take questions, but I need to bring up Facebook and whatnot to kind of see that stuff. Shout out right now to all of the sponsors and supporting partners, because without you guys, it just wouldn't be as fun. So shout out to the teams at Dive Bermuda at Grotto Bay, Dive Bermuda at Fairmont, Southampton. Shout out to the Blue Water Divers team, Conyers Imports, the wonderful guys at Uber Vita, the team at Atlantic Mooring and Maintenance Limited, AMML, Blue Shark, Satronics Enterprises, and Honda Marine, and new to the slate as of probably, what was that, Shima? Probably about 20 minutes ago. Bermuda Water Sports have jumped on board as a sponsor. So while I haven't quite yet figured out exactly how to allocate the prizes out to you guys, I promise you that everyone that participates will get a prize. It's not going to be the cool hoodie that the Winter Derby offers or the cool branded apparel that the Groundswell tournament offered in years past. So, I mean, what makes this tournament unique, and there are a few things, and I haven't touched on them all, is that this is no cost to enter, right? You sign up, you're good to go. Sponsors have taken care of the expense. Yeah, so it's super easy to sign up. You do it all online, and it's been about 19 minutes since I've been on the stream, and I don't have to tell you, like, we're living in different times. It's pretty wild out there, right? So the awesome thing is that I've been working with Michael Christopher on this platform and tweaking iAngler for almost 3 years now, it feels like. So we were working on introducing iAngler and the Lionfish Grand Prix tournament framework to the community way before the pandemic. So it's pretty cool how, with the pandemic, it just is really amazing to have this tool where we can continue with offering lionfish calling events, and there's no in person. You don't have to go anywhere to register. You don't have to exchange cash with anybody. There's no brick and mortar you got to go to. It really reduces any kind of human interaction to make this all happen. Now, with that said, human interaction is critical, you guys. It's important, right? So I'm hoping through at some point during this month, that probably midway, I'll organize an in-person event, probably midway, where it's outside, open air, and we'll socially distance. Everyone will have masks. We'll have hand sanitizer everywhere. But it'll be wonderful just to bring all the anglers together that are participating in this event to just socialize, right? Just have some drinks, have some snacks, and just talk about what we've all been up to and whatnot. So just give me 1 second, you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in on Instagram, and thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook. And it's kind of summertime. I had an early dinner. So that's what's going on there. Thank you, Quay. Yeah. So Quay says around 3¼ inch is a good size for smallest fish. So yeah, I guess it's kind of crystal clear now. If you catch a fish that's over 4 inches, you might as well just take the sides off and eat it, or bake it whole and just eat it one time. Shout out to Preston Gill, who's jumped on. That's pretty wicked. And what I'm trying to do, you guys, is just bring up the comment section. Okay, cool. So if anyone has any questions about the Lionfish Grand Prix, please drop them in the comment section. No, I'm doing my best to sort of field these different platforms because the questions are coming in across different platforms. I'm going to share my screen, and apologies to my Instagram family. You're not going to be able to see this, but if you do want to jump on the stream on Facebook or YouTube, just find Lionfish Grand Prix on Facebook, and boom, you'll be up on there. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys what the portal looks like. Where are we? Let's go share. And shout out to my friend Shayna Brody with the awesome background image. Let's go full screen, you guys. All right, you should be able to see full screen. So this is what the iAngler portal looks like. So I've signed in as me, so I do see some extra goodies that you won't see as a registered angler. And shout out to Lady Godiva Jamaica, Lee, and the whole Lady Godiva team. Lee, I'm not going to let the cat out the bag about what you and I are going to be doing in Jamaica very soon. I'll keep that to myself. So yeah, 11 teams, 24 anglers. 3 have been logged, 3 are new. Yeah, so we've got 3 culling events in the system that I need to verify. Picture that I took of my buddy Chris Molyneux had this lionfish on a spear as we were on our safety stop, and picture's been used so many times over the years for different things. It's just a great shot. Just my name, what I do, my number, my email address, and then yeah, so the race is on, tying into this whole Grand Prix racing thing, right? So Guardians of the Reef is the passion project / NGO that I've been running now for almost a decade. We present the November 2020 Bermuda Lionfish Grand Prix. So in the blurb after that just explains what you have to do to enter. It's a 2-step process, and then the prizes. And then, yeah, I shouted out to all the sponsors and supporting partners already. If you'd like to join as a sponsor or supporting partner, just send me an email and we'll talk about it. Prizes can be big, prizes can be small. It just doesn't matter. We want to just get out there and call as many lionfish as possible, and cool prizes are pretty wicked. All right. So yeah, guys, I said this already, no cost to enter. So what happens is when you hit this page and you're not signed up, you'll see 2 buttons down here: register as a individual angler or as a team. And then we've got some announcements. So whenever there's an announcement, I throw it down here, and then a schedule, which is pretty wicked too. So one of the announcements that's pretty wicked is I stood up a WhatsApp group for the Lionfish Grand Prix. Before you kind of get nervous, I don't have to say like lionfish WhatsApp message storms are real. And what I decided to do with this particular WhatsApp group is make it where only administrators can post messages, so that it doesn't turn into this whole kind of thing. So whenever there's a big announcement, I'll post that across platforms. I'll post it to this announcements area. I'll post it to the Facebook page and Instagram and all those different spots, just because it's important, right, to kind of get information out there when it's an important announcement, right? And then we've got just the tie-in to Facebook. And of course, this event runs for an entire month, and I'm gonna just highlight different things that are going on around the region, past videos on YouTube that I found to be very interesting. So I'll share all that out because you don't really even have to be participating to be interested in what's going on, right? So I'm just gonna share things over time, and then there's a gallery that's going to be populated with images that Lionfish Colors have submitted either by Instagram. They've tagged Lionfish Grand Prix. So I'll pull that and add it to the gallery. And yeah, this is something that's just for the directors to see, but these are the two things that we asked for that I mentioned earlier. So we need to know your permit number, and we also need to know your report number. And then these are the crew, the event directors. Shout out to Mr. Christopher. And then our sponsors. Got to add Bermuda Water Sports to that. And all the rules and regulations. So I'm not going to go over all of these because it's all there at lionfishgrandprix.com, which shoots you over to the Facebook page, which then you get to the iAngler page. Yeah, and then the disclaimer, right? But one of the things I wanted to mention is a couple things I want to mention. Yeah. I'll go live again soon. I think the most important thing for me really is to get as many people registered for the tournament as possible, and to just have everybody kick the tires, right? Help us work out all the kinks for the platform, because as you can kind of tell from the overarching title and theme, that this isn't the one and only event that's going to happen with the Lionfish Grand Prix. The LFGP will happen repetitively, and it will happen in other countries, not just in Bermuda. So if you want an LFGP to take place near you, please reach out to me and let me know. I will be happy to throw all of my support and resources behind an event taking place in your country or in your state, or in your area, because hey, this is what we want to do. We want to keep their numbers in check across the region, right? So that's the big idea, if you will. And what that allows us to do as well is, like, for so long, Bermuda, we've been locked into the event seasonality. One event in the winter, one event in the spring, one event in the summer, one event in the fall, and it's like, that's wicked. But now, like, we have the opportunity to break away from that and pretty much throw up an LFGP at any time. It doesn't have, and they don't even have to run for an entire month. But this time of year, the weather's not always super fantastic for diving, and that's one of the reasons why. Shout out to Dr. Corey Eddy, who essentially crafted the framework of having a January tournament running for the entire month. So I took a feather out of his cap and figured, look, November, it's great to have a holiday weekend, but why not run something for the entire month? So here we go. So next time I will definitely have, I'll share the screen on my mobile phone so that you guys can see the app and how that works. I'll also go through the whole process of registering a noob. I wanted to keep this live down to about half an hour or so, because I got some other stuff to tackle, and I'm sure that you do too. But yeah, please follow Lionfish Grand Prix on Instagram. Follow Lionfish Grand Prix on Facebook. We're all across social. Like the few pictures that are there. Every like helps. Every thumbs up helps. This is just something it's been in the works for such a long time, but I recognize it's not perfect. So one of the key takeaways from doing this is to improve and evolve the platform, and make things as frictionless as possible for everyone that wants to support. Okay, so that's important. Feedback. And yeah, this would not be possible. It will be possible, but it wouldn't be as wicked at all. Without all the anglers, all the lionfish colors in Bermuda, thank you so much for participating in this event. And if you're considering to participate, you're not too sure. Please, you guys, like I'm gonna be 100. Like you guys ask for you ask for people to host events, and so don't let me or any other entity stand up an event and then for whatever reason you don't want to participate because you got an issue with whatever. Participate, man. Like help us do what we do, right? Like just a lot of this is really like labor of love type stuff, you guys. Like this is something that I'm not making any money off of. It's not designed for profit. It's just I don't know, you guys. Like I just love doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not motivated by profit. I don't have a business behind the scenes that I'm trying to keep alive. This is just I'm just that guy from St. George's that likes to do dope shit. So sign up for the tournament. Get out there if you can. Conditions and timing allows. Call as many invasive lionfish as you can. Even if you come up with one, that's cool. Drop your boy into the tournament. You never know. Like I said, everyone that participates, whether you catch something or not, as long as you register, you will take away a prize. So that's wicked. You will be recognized forever and ever. On lionfishgrandprix.com. We'll just keep all the records and your name will be etched in stone because that's important too. What I don't want you to be is like, anyone that participates to be forgotten. It's always wicked when you think about like, oh yeah, who won the biggest lobster from the lobster tournament last year? Well, we know the guys, from True Bermuda cleaned up last year, right? Shout out to Crockwell and them. What was it? 11 pounder, 12 pounder. Do you even know how old that lobster was? I don't even eat a lobster that big. Like that lobster's just old. I wouldn't want to eat a 200-year-old cow. Like that's just not. It's just not nice. Like I don't know, caught your boy, weighed him or whatnot, and then released him back into the ocean to kind of do what he does. Like I don't think that would have been like that young tender meat. I do eat lobster. Forgive me, you guys. For you guys that are vegetarians and don't eat lobster, but I saw True Bermuda jump on. I know those guys are veterans in doing a whole bunch of different things. So hopefully, Joshua and his team jump on this lionfish event and clean up as they've done like 2 years in a row, as far as I remember, with the lobster tournament. So shout out to Making Waves and Stu and Doug and Jade and the team over there doing amazing things and just keeping the community engaged, keeping things exciting, doing things to bring people together. The engagement and all that is important, right? So if you have any, will you have any? I don't know if we're gonna run a Grand Prix event in December. There is another event taking place the first weekend of December that Blue Water Divers are putting on. The announcement went out probably yesterday. So look out for those details. So while an LFGP can run concurrently with other events, it's not like your lionfish are exclusive to one tournament or another, I would guess. We could run another tournament, for the entire month of December. But I got some other surprises happening in December. So I may or may not want to run 2 events simultaneously, really. So hint. So yeah, that's the vibe. If you've got some prizes, you have a business, you got some t-shirts, some mugs and stuff. I got my little Yeti mug. This thing keeps stuff cold for a really long time. It's real nice. Oh, it's great. Dry talking all this time. Gosh. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is just have a look across the platforms, make sure that I haven't overlooked anybody's question. The audio in this room is not the best. I need All right, so here we go. So question or comment coming in from Facebook. Shout out to Robin Vincent, who is, correct me if I'm wrong, the 2019 lionfish queen. So Robin caught the most lionfish in Bermuda in 2019, right? Yeah, I think so. So Robin says, the numbers are starting to pick up out there again too. Thanks for organizing Weldon. It's motivated us to get off our butts and back out there. So real quick, last November, December, Quay, JD, Robin, Brandon, and I, and remember Adrian came out one time. We got out to the southeast corner a few times and filled up coolers of fish. Really, really racked them up. It was just like fire at will. You know, I had started to get used to like dealing with 30, 40, 50, 60 fish per outing. Yeah, and then, so we got all kinds of, lionfish racked up. And then when the January tournament came around, we were like, yes. And then I don't know what happened. Like either we got tired or, the lionfish numbers just weren't there anymore. It was just so weird. And then the weather went bad, right? I even moved my boat over to Tucker. Shout out to Atlantic Mooring. Moved the boat over to Tucker's so we can have easier access to that southeast, right? And boom. So yeah, I got some corrections coming in, you guys. So Robin is a 2020 lionfish queen. Yes, 2020 for the I don't know how that works. For the previous year, yeah. So shout out to Robin Vincent. Thank you, Jade, for that clarity. Quay, 500 fish in the month of December, last December. That was crazy, man. Like, you guys were catching so many. Like, yeah, well, we know what happened. It's just so many fish. It was wild. Now, for those of you that are watching this either live or on the replay that kind of don't have an idea about like numbers, right? Because you go to Florida, you go to Bahamas, you go to other invaded countries in the invaded range, you and your dive buddy on scuba may come back with 15 lionfish every dive year round, right? 20, 30 lionfish every dive year round. Our numbers aren't that high. That doesn't mean that we don't have many lionfish in our waters. It's just, the way that I've come to understand it is like, Bermuda, our island sits inside of a very extinct volcano, right? And so we don't have a large platform like they do in the Bahamas. We have a very small, shallow water platform, and then it quickly goes to deep water as you get off the edge of the platform, right? Just on the top of a volcano, right? A seamount, underwater seamount. So we have a lot of lionfish, but they tend to be in deep water. And traditionally, and it's not scientifically proven, these fish will kind of come into the shallow water as the water cools. So that's kind of been the trend. So we haven't critically tagged lionfish to prove this sort of theory, but the culling community is well aware. You try to catch a bunch of lionfish in the middle of summer, you're not going to catch many. You hunt during the winter, you will catch many. So it's like during the lobster season, which runs from September to March, you'll also be able to catch many lionfish. Now, one thing to be aware of, and again, this audience, you guys on Instagram and you guys on Facebook and YouTube, you could be tuning in from anywhere. So Bermuda has some very strict rules and regulations with respect to harvesting from the sea, removing anything alive from the ocean. So with harvesting lobsters, you can't do that on scuba. And when you want to spearfish any other fish other than lionfish, you cannot do that on scuba either. Lionfish is an exception to the rule for getting your permit to hunt, and you are able to remove these invasive lionfish on scuba or free diving or snorkeling from protected wrecks and protected reefs around the platform. Okay, that's something to bear in mind. There's processes and fees involved with all of that stuff. You just can't come to Bermuda and harvest from the sea willy-nilly. Like there's all kinds of things to keep things in check and keep things sustainable. And yeah, it's anybody has any questions about that, I'm happy to answer those too. Because while I don't spear other fish other than lionfish, I do have my lobster permit. That permit is valid. Again, we have a seasonal lobstering. We have a lobster season that runs from September through March. You pay $130 US at DENR, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and you get your little card, which is in my wallet. Where is it? Got it over here. Got to carry it at all times. And I know this is nothing to do with lionfish, but you are allowed to take from the sea 2 lobsters of legal size. That's my little ID card right there. That's for you guys on Instagram. Little card, little stickers on the back. You're allowed to take 2 lobsters per permitted. Yeah, per license holder per day. The lobsters have to be a certain size, and if they're female, they cannot be carrying eggs. Yeah, and you can't take lobsters from protected sites. Wrecks, reef. There's protected sites all around Bermuda. You can't just take them from anywhere. And yeah, and just like I said, how this tournament is honor based. Even when you're out there doing anything on the water, like you want to keep each other in check. Make sure your buddies ain't doing anything unscrupulous, because at the end of the day, these rules and restrictions are in place for a reason. Okay. So if you're heading back to shore and you got more than your quota on your boat, 30 smallest ones back, you guys. Stay within the rules. They're there for a reason. Okay. I got a question from Instagram. The question is, so if I come home to do lions or to call lionfish, do I need a license? Yes, you come home to Bermuda. You will need to do the permit course. It's an actual, so to get a license for lobsters and spearfishing, you don't need to take a course at all. You just show up, fill out the forms, pay, get your picture taken, get your card, and you go. But for lionfish, because it's an exception to the rules, right? Like it's a caveat that the government have opened up. It's important for you to enroll and participate in and complete an in-person class. That way, all the rules and regulations are made crystal clear to you, and you don't take your lionfish spear off Elbow Beach with like a bag full of and come back with lionfish and parrotfish, right? Parrotfish are not allowed. You're not allowed to take those. So yeah, you will need a permit to call lionfish when you come back to the island. And as far as I know, because Jade and her team have certainly shortened the duration of the course. So when I used to teach the course, it was quite long. Shortened it down. You still get all the information that you need, and you get a flag. You get your own unique numbered tag, and I believe it's $20. And boom, it's you just have to report annually, and that's sort of the renewal. So it's a one-time fee. I mentioned the lobster permit. That's or the lobster license or permit. I keep getting this mixed up. This is a license. It says it right there. Lobster license is annual. It's $130 per year, where the lionfish permit is a one-time $20 fee. At least it is right now. That could change at any time. I don't know. Yeah. So I got a shout out to Naratic. CJ did not ask me to rep or mention Naratic, but Making Waves do sell these Naratic spears, and these are the only spears that are like legal, not Naratic specifically, but short pole spear with the trident tip. And it's a pole spear because how do you get the power in the spear? It's with this loop. Okay, you just put the loop in your hand like this. Can you see this? So Instagram, that's there, Facebook, and you kind of cock the spear. You just crawl your hand up the spear, and that's how you get the power behind the spear. So no spear guns, you guys. I know this audience is could be global, right? Yeah, no spear guns allowed in Bermuda. You're only allowed to spear lionfish with, I believe, I gotta read the paperwork. I should know this, right? A 4-foot spear or shorter. So, yeah. All right. I got some intel, you guys. I got some intel from the one and only legend himself, Mr. Quayshawn Hollis. Shout out Quay. The next lionfish culling course is Tuesday, November 10th at 6 p.m. You do need to reserve a spot. And due to COVID, this is our new normal. Due to COVID, spaces are limited. So if you want to get your permit to participate in this Lionfish Grand Prix event or the event taking place in December, shout out to Blue Water Divers and the Bermuda Lionfish Task Force that are pulling that together. Yeah, get your permit first so that you can participate in these things and join the team that are doing our best to keep lionfish in check. Let me stop sharing my screen, because what I want to do yeah, I can't remember the name of the event happening in December. I was trying to look that up real quick, but hey, Kiana, hope you're doing all right. Nice to see you on the live. Right. So I got that juicy intel from the wonderful people that teach the course, that it's happening Tuesday, November 10th. So if you have any questions about the Bermuda Lionfish Grand Prix or the November 2020 Bermuda Lionfish Grand Prix, please drop your comment now. If you have any questions about diving for lionfish, any tips or tricks, we got some rock stars on the stream that will be able to answer any questions that I can't. All right. Nellie Berry. Hey, Nellie. What's going on? Yeah, I've been on, like I said, when I kicked off the live, and I'm about to sign off at the top of the hour, is like I got Facebook and YouTube up on one camera, and then I have Instagram up on my phone. So just interacting with each platform is kind of tricky, but you got to do this, right? This is the new normal of going live. Hi, Susan. Oh, this 48 minutes has gone by real quick. Shout out to some of the legends in the no. What I want to do, you know what I want to do? I want to shout out to everybody that signed up. How could I even think about ending this live? I shouted out, sponsors and whatnot. Shout out you guys to Team On Our Spear Time. Shout out to Team Grim Reefers. Shout out to the One Breath Alliance. Shout out to Team Unstung. Shout out to the legends, the Sexy Reef Ambassadors. Shout out to the legends, Lit Divers, Lost in the Triangle Divers. And shout out to all of our individual callers who have jumped in, put their name forward, and we'll do our best to crush it out there on the reef and remove as many of these invasive pests as possible. So, yeah, shout out to all the teams that are making this event exciting. It just wouldn't be fun. I already told guys. I said, look, if you don't participate in this thing, it just ain't gonna be fun. I might as well shut it down. But guys jumped on deck, And it's so wicked to see all these ocean rock stars and ocean heroes jump into the LFGP. Because yeah, it's a totally different vibe than any other tournament that's taking place in Bermuda, in the region, and probably the world. And I think that's all thanks to ianglotournament.com and Michael Christopher and his development team. And we've been working with him for quite a while, like years, to just work out the kinks and massage this to be the most like frictionless tournament, like online app platform tournament as possible. Because at the end of the day, you guys, like, I might not call as many lionfish as I used to. I'm more behind the scenes doing this kind of stuff. But like when I design something like this, or when I stand something up, or I do something like this, I want it to be something that I would want to participate in as well, right? So it's like made by colors for colors, or by divers for divers. And then, not make it so like over the top. Like, for you guys that know me, like, I just keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it engaging, and just make it have good impact, and just do something. You know what I mean? Like, like, I like to do stuff. Let the actions come forward. Like, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. It's late. It's been a long day. Even though we gained that hour, I'm just so tired. Like, it's cool. All good. All right. Once again, shout out to our sponsors of this particular tournament event, the November 2020 Bermuda LFGP. Shout out to Dive Bermuda, Blue Water Divers, Conyers Imports, Uber Vita, AMML, Blue Shark, Satronics Enterprises Limited, and Honda Marine, and Bermuda Water Sports. Shima, Roach, I'm going to add your logo to the platform right after I get off this live. I promise. And yeah, that is probably it. I'm going to stay on the feed, or stay on the stream, for until the top of the hour. 8 more minutes, and then I'll cut the stream and go and take care of some other stuff. Yeah, 500 fish in the month of December last year was pretty wild. January was weird. What I want to do is let me share my screen again. We got time. We got time. So this is the Bermuda Lionfish Task Force page. That if you are a permitted color in Bermuda, you should know lionfish.bm like the back of your hand. This is where you come to kind of see what's going on. So we've got lionfish report, the amount of lionfish that have been reported as being removed. And I think we all know that not every fish taken from the ocean is reported. And yeah, your audio is awesome. You can even hear the frogs in the background. Yeah, this mic is super sensitive. I probably need to turn the gain down a little bit, but yeah, let me just be quiet for a second. Yeah, I hear what you hear. So yeah, there were some frogs that coming through pretty first. So yeah, visit lionfish.bm. You click on here, and this is pretty wicked, you guys. I'm ashamed I even thought about cutting out the stream without showing this. So you can use this tool and see where and when lionfish have been taken from our water. So let's say 291 lionfish. You can zoom in, and you can see real quick that most of the lionfish are taken from what I kind of call Lionfish Alley, like South Shore, really between like Elbow Beach and the southeast corner over here. That's just where most of them are. And remember, I said Bermuda sits like sort of in the crater of a very extinct volcano. That's the sort of outline. So when I say on the platform, it's inshore. It's in this sort of area, the shallow area. And once you get off the edge, you're into the abyss, you guys. Like, it's super deep water. You're not diving down there. It's crazy. So we've got they fixed this. That's cool. Because just the other day, Chris was first and second. So shout out to Chris Cabral, Mark Otterbridge, Alex Davidson, Natalie Price, and Sir Tim Fox. Okay, wait a minute. It's a top 5. That's not all time. What? Okay, either way. Is that by period? Oh, it's by period. Okay. Yeah. Week. Okay, it's by period. That's cool. Let's go by year. Right, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, Chris is in second. Okay, it is what it is. Shout out to all you guys that are just out there viciously and aggressively and unapologetically calling lionfish from our reef. That is wicked. So that's what's up, you guys. I'm going to jump off this stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in, Instagram. It's been a wonderful hour hanging out with you guys. I will be going live again soon for this LFGP. I will be pulling in special guests in the future. Yeah, you'll expect an email in your inbox soon from me inviting you onto the stream. It would be nice to get some more people on to talk about their work and their experiences. I'm easy to reach, you guys. Feel free to jump into my DMs on Instagram or Facebook. Shoot me an email, weldon.wade@gmail.com. Follow Lionfish Grand Prix on Instagram and Facebook. Follow Guardians of the Reef. Finally kind of getting that all squared up. It's been 10 years in the making, and I'm just kind of getting started. So I'm really excited about that. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got. 2020. What a year. Woo. Yeah. Jeez. Riley Taggett. Shout out to Riley. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to sign out, you guys. I'm going to drink some more lemonade. And if I didn't get to your comments or questions in the chat, I will respond offline. And yeah, I'll probably go live at least once a week. But I want to get some guests on so that you're not looking at my talking head the whole time, right? Thank you. I appreciate you. This is all a work in progress. Feedback, questions, queries, comments, suggestions are welcomed. This is the first time this has been done. It's going to be a little bit bumpy, but the more we iron out now, shout out to Foxy571. I see you. The more we iron out now with iAngler, the better it'll be the next time around. When's the next time going to be? I don't know. It could be any time. It could be December, it could be January, it could be February, it could be March. But shout out to Lady Godiver in Jamaica. We've got some cool stuff going on down there. We're going to do something when we get out there. So, to my Bermuda family, it's just about 8 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your night. To the world, thank you so much. For those of you on the live, thank you. For those of you watching on replay, thank you so much. That is all for now. Take care.